Hello and welcome back to Farmstead TV. Today we're watching some more of the Nordic Warrior Cup 2. We are in round 4 and we are watching Magnus de Laval versus Trygve. So let's take a look at their decks. You can see first here is Arabian Aggro deck of Trygve. He plays with the Kurdape, Serendefret, Ernam Jin. He also plays with 12 burn spells, a bunch of powers, some crumble, and a wheel of fortune, fireball. So a really strong deck. Of course this deck doesn't like city in a bottle, but that's how it goes. You can see it's pretty interesting that he chose to play Crumble over Shatter. Of course Crumble is 1 mana and Shatter is 2, so that could be the case, but the life game might be a difference. But of course if you only takes out factories and moxes, I guess Crumble is a lot better, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. So, and his opponent Magnus, he plays his famous Project M deck. I don't have his current list or a picture of it, but I've did some googling and found an older version. It looks pretty much the same. He plays with a bunch of Guardian Beasts. They combo great with Chaos Orb and Icy Manipulator, Disc and Tome, and Fellow Stone. He also has some transmute artifacts, the blue power. He has some big creatures like the Mahamotijin, the Triskelion and Swamp King and a Doppelganger. I think I also saw a clone and a Shivan Dragon in his current list. And also there's a lot of cool altars here. So this deck is really something to watch. Alright, enough talk, let's get down to the game. Game number 1. You have Magnus on the left and Trygve to the right. Looks like both players have kept their 7, and Trygve starts out with a library of Alexandria. So here we go again with the library. And Magnus plays a Fellow Stone. It's an altered one. So let's see if Magnus can deal with card advantage from the library. Trygve casts a Chain Lightning. That brings Magnus down to 17. Magnus plays a Guardian Beast. No, wait. Yeah, he didn't have black mana, so he played an Icy Manipulator instead. So Trygve plays a Chaos Orb. Or yeah, perhaps yeah, he needs to draw a card with the library first, and then he can play the Chaos Orb. Probably taking care of the Icy. Oh, and he miss. Oh, that's too bad. It's kind of hard to flip it when you're on the feature table. I noticed that myself. My hands always shakes a bit more when I do it. And here comes the second Icy Manipulator. Oh, and here Magnus taps the library. to deny Trygve drawing that extra card. I've never thought about that use before, so that's a cool one. Magnus plays a clone, cloning the Urnam Djinn. Once again, he taps the library. Of course, this only work if he has 6 or fewer cards. If he has 7, he can draw with the library before his draw phase. So here he attacks with Urnam, and he has a lot of burn cards, so Magnus choose not to block. Here comes the second Urnam Djinn. So Magnus's Urnam now has Forest Walk. I think I saw some Serendi efforts in Trygve's hand, but it's not fun to play them out when opponents have Icy. Oh, and here comes Mind Twist. That's another great way to deal with the library. Mind Twist for 4. Chose to hold back 1 mana to preserve his life total. So it's a Psionic Blasts, 3 Serendi efforts. Wow. Brutal Mind Twist. So Magnus taps down 1 Urnam Djinn, the other ones gets to attack, and Magnus blocks it. And a third Urnam Djinn hits the table. Looks like they're talking about Icy Manipulators. They can be quite annoying. Oh, and here comes the Guardian Beast. That gives all non-creature artifacts indestructible. So that's really cool with a Chaos Orb. You can use the Chaos Orb every turn. And Trygve plays a Black Lotus, sacking it to cast a Wheel of Fortune. So now we can start drawing with the library again. See some big beefy creatures in Magnus' hand. Mahamoti, and a Shivan, and a Soul Canal. The Swamp King, don't quite remember the name. So at the end of turn, Magnus taps down 2 Urnams. Or was it the attack phase? Looks like it was the attack phase. The Chain Lightning takes care of the clone. Here comes the Kurdape. looks like Trygve played too many spells, so he doesn't have the library. It's pretty easy to get a bit carried away and play a bunch of spells, and then suddenly you're out of library reach. Magnus hits with the Chaos Orb, taking out one of the Urnams, and since he have the Guardian Beast, the Chaos Orb stays on the table. Here comes a Granite Gargoyle. Looks like Trygve has some burn cards for the Guardian Beast. He has to deal with that. Unless Magnus can just destroy one card each turn. He chose to cast a Brain Geyser that brings him back to 7 cards. And library for the 8 card. So now we can double Chain Lightning the Guardian Beast. Let's bring him down to 6 card again. So then Magnus could do his Icy Manipulator trick. Lightning bolts the Granite Gargoyle and attacks for 10. Let's see if the Shivan Dragon or the Mahamoti Djinn enters the table. Yep, there's a Shivan Dragon. It's a pretty cool altar as well. See, there's a crumble in Trygve's hand. But it's not good to give Magnus more life. Oh, and here's a Mace of Whit and a Mahamoti Djinn. Oh god. So the Shivan attacks for 5. Brings Trygve down to 13. So now Magnus can attack for lethal if he pumps the Shivan for 3. Yep, looks like he does. That's 13 damage. Yep, and he wins. Okay, so Magnus takes the first game. Game number 2. Looks like Trygve is mulligan to 6. And he is also on the play. Starts out with a Volcanic Island and a Nox Sapphire. Magnus plays a Factory. The coolest version, of course, the winter one. Here comes a Psionic Blast straight to the face. A Fellow Stone with an American flag. And Trygve plays a Curd Ape. Trygve plays an energy flux, but Magnus counters it with a drain, with a mana drain. Plays a soul ring. And Magnus plays a mirror universe. So with that, he can trade life with his opponent at his upkeep. So that's a cool thing to have against an aggressive deck. And Trygve plays an Urnam Djinn. So he's down to 16. I don't know why the camera is moving. If you know what's happening, let me know in the comments. And here comes the control magic on the Urnam Djinn. That is a great card against creature decks. Trygve plays a Nevral's Disc. That's a good... Oh, and Magnus has a Shatter for it. Oh, I think it's going to be hard for Trygve to take this game. The disc here would have been great. So now Magnus attacks for 6. Trygve choose to block with a Curd Ape. Magnus pumps the factory. Black Lotus hits the table. Use it to cast a fireball on the Urnam Djinn. See a demonic tutor in Magnus's hand. Here it comes. I can see he puts a Triskelion on top. Looks like he's searching through his library again. I can see a Time Walk on top. Yeah, looks like he took the Time Walk. It looked like he was searching for something. So here he can attack for 4 with his 2 factories and play a Time Walk. And do it one more time. That will put the Trygve down to 2 life. Okay, I think it was the fireball he was searching for, but he forgot that he sideboarded it out. There comes 2 factories. Okay. And Trygve chose to end his own life with a Psionic Blast. So that was round number 4. Magnus took this down 2-0, and that first game was really great with a lot of classic cards, dragons and djinns all over the place. When the match started out with the library, I was a bit bummed out because there's been so many turn 1 library in this tournament, but Magnus had a cool trick with Ice the Manipulator, and he could tap it down in Trygve's upkeep, so that was a cool trick. I will definitely take note of. And then he followed it up with a mind twist. So yeah, cool to see a library losing. So yeah, that was it. I'll see you in the next one.